Your parents recently celebrated their 40th year anniversary.
Yes, they did.
What have they taught you about building lasting relationships?
My parents asked me to say a few words, and I didn't prepare anything. And so there I had to say, talk about 40 years of marriage, and I was like, uh-oh. And so I told a story, which is a true story, which is I never appreciated my parents' marriage until I got to college. So I'm 18 years old, right? 18 years I never appreciated it. And that was already 21 years of marriage or something, right? And what I started to learn when I got to college is during the holidays, there were people who made every effort not to go home because they didn't like their families, right? They would want to go to a friend's house or plan a vacation, but they did not want to go home. And I remember loving going to school. Like when I was home, I loved leaving for school, but when I was at school, I loved coming home. Yeah. And it was then that I realized what I had and this thing that I took for granted. And then you also take stock. My parents have been together 40 years. The number of my friends whose parents are divorced is astronomical. And you start to realize that so many of my friends at college either had broken homes or even if their parents were together, they didn't want to go home. So you're left with a very small percentage. And so not taking these things for granted, valuable relationships, close relationships, and they don't have to be marriages, friendships, they're pretty damn important, and you can't make them overnight. They take years to get good, a little bit like fine wine. And they require nursing. You got to recork them and you got to turn them. And we all know that relationships take work, and I got all that. But just to understand and acknowledge that those close relationships that we have will save your life. And I don't just mean somebody who will risk their life for yours, although that may happen, but that in your time of need, it's the knowledge that someone will be there for you that is more important than anything else. A friend is not somebody where it's equal and reciprocal all the time. Well, I did 3 things for you, you have to do three things for me. You could do 100 things for somebody and they can do nothing for you, but for the fact that you walk around with the knowledge that the moment you need something, they'll be there without question. That's not to be taken for granted.